Let me ask you something, guys. Do you ever look at WWE and can't help but feel like something's missing? The product looks more shinier and more polished, crazy social media reach and engagement. The WWE is making more money than ever before. But has it come at a cost? Has the quality of the product suffered as a result? And does it really hit the way it used to? Well, hello everyone, I'm Big Dave. And today I wanted to talk about why I think the moment WWE sold itself to TKO was the beginning of the end of the WWE that we love. TKO is the parent company that owns the UFC. This deal was supposed to be the dawn of a new era. Bigger reach, more money, more structure. But guys, here's the truth. Since that sale, WWE has changed a lot. It is not always for the better. In fact, I'd argue that in some really important ways, it's changed for the worse. And by the end of this video, you'll see exactly what I mean. So let's break it on down. The WWE used to be a family business. The McMahon family was the WWE. Vince's vision. Anything we saw on TV, whether it was a bikini contest or Stone Cold Steve Austin drinking beers on Monday Night Raw, it was all approved by Vince McMahon. Now, all that's gone. TKO holds the majority. Endeavor runs the show. The McMahon voice, good, bad, or ugly, has been watered down and replaced. See, when you trade family control for corporate shareholders, everything changes. Decision making isn't about risk or passion anymore. It's about quarterly earnings, investor calls, and big margins to line their pockets, not to give the fans an experience that they wouldn't get otherwise. That also means fewer chances taken, more committees, more middlemen, and more filters. Y'all remember when WWE used to be wild and unpredictable, but now it just seems that unpredictability is gone. The product has to be safe and sponsor friendly. And with every layer of polish, something raw, pun intended, gets stripped away. Section 2, creative and the product. Now, let's talk about what we actually see on TV. Back in the day, I would say as recently as the 2010s, you really never knew what you were going to get. Raw could end up with a shocking return or a storyline swerving us out of nowhere. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it bombed, but at least it felt alive, guys. Like the night that CM Punk dropped the pipe bomb. Remember when he sat on the stage with his legs crossed and ripped into Vince McMahon, John Cena, and even The Rock? It felt unscripted, it felt dangerous, and completely unpredictable. Fans didn't know if he was going off the rails or if it was just part of the show. But it's that kind of shock that made you feel like anything could happen, and it kept people glued to the screens. The ultimate cliffhanger of what could happen next week. And then we ended up with, as we know now, as the awesome Summer of Punk 2011. 2025, we got the man CM Punk back, which is great, but does he really feel like pipe bomb Punk to you? Nah, not at all. But why is that? It's not his fault. Because it's dangerous when you're trying to keep Wall Street happy to take risk. It's easier to run back to the same formulas, the same superstars, with the same basic safe storylines. Think about how often you see slow arcs for mid-card talent anymore. Really, almost never. If you're not instantly selling merch or trending on TikTok, you're basically just background noise. But and that kills organic growth, which kills intriguing stories and the characters trying to portray them. So let's be real. The moment WWE lost that anything can happen energy, it lost one of its greatest weapons. Right now, the product is decent, but it's just not electric. And that, my friends, is the TKO effect. Lack of building new top stars and mediocre storylines. Okay, so for section 3, I want to directly talk to you, the fan, and your experience. Do you feel like it's actually getting harder to be a WWE fan? Tickets are definitely more expensive than ever. Pay-per-views or premium live events are tied up in different streaming platforms now. Merch is more expensive. VIP experiences are pushed in our faces constantly. Just look at the last couple of Wrestlemanias in recent years. Floor seats that once ran $300, maybe $500 are literally into the thousands now, guys. Even the cheap seats feel anything but cheap. Families who would attend WWE shows as a yearly tradition or on a regular basis now struggle to even justify the price of a single Raw or SmackDown. Pay-per-views are locked behind these streaming deals now. Once upon a time, you could order a pay-per-view through your cable provider and know exactly what you're going to get. And look at the media rights deals. Raw moving to Netflix, other content split across ESPN, Peacock, and so on. Great for corporate cash, But for the fan, that just means more subscriptions, more cost, less access. Pay-per-views like Wrestlemania, Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, even Survivor Series were moved from Peacock to ESPN's brand new streaming service. That means if you want to watch the WWE premium live events in the US, you'll need ESPN's subscription, which will run you about $30 a month. See, now it's a huge shift. WWE gets a bigger payday and more exposure through ESPN, but for the fans, it's just another example of the product getting more expensive and more complicated to follow now. It's less about fans easily tuning in and more about corporate contracts. Merchandise prices are climbing. Replica belts that used to cost a few $100s in the mid-2000s now push up for over $500 or more. T-shirts that were once $20 at the merch stand are now around $40. Being a diehard fan has never been more expensive. Also, not to mention these official travel packages that they push with SummerSlam and WrestleMania, included with the hotel stays and the ticket bundle, probably run you about $5,000. But the price tags could be compared to a vacation to Disney or going overseas somewhere. It's a sign of how WWE monetizes not just the event, but the entire fan experience. And yes, WWE has always been a business. There was a time where you felt like WWE and yourself were synonymous, like it felt like they were a part of your DNA and your culture. You were proud and represented it well to be a wrestling fan, but now you realize that's all still true, but more so to them, you're just a number, another customer, and a dollar sign. And if you're international, it's even worse. Different streaming rights, delayed content, raising prices. Fans outside of the US are getting squeezed the hardest. And here's the thing, when fans feel like a number instead of a community, passion drops, the energy drops. That connection between the fans and the product, that's the magic. Without it, you just have a show, and the show just isn't the same as a movement. Section 4, culture shift. Behind the curtain, the shift was just as big. Say what you want about Vince, but wrestlers lived and died by trying to convince him of their ideas. Now, sure, it was chaotic, frustrating, even toxic at times, but it also created legends that we know and love. Household names. Characters that should have never worked, but they did. Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Undertaker, even the Daniel Bryan Yes movement. Now with TKO, the culture feels more corporate, more numbers driven, more prove it with the data than let's take a chance. That might feel safer for investors, but safer doesn't always make history. Wrestling thrives on risk, chaos, and passion. You strip that away and you get a clean, well-produced product that feels just soulless. So let's get specific. Look at creative. Early after Vince left, under Triple H, fans were hopeful of longer matches and more storytelling, but like clockwork, the machine settled back into repetition. Safe storylines, predictable payoffs, and how about talent? Big carders who would have never been elevated or ignored because the focus is on proven names and celebrities like Jelly Roll, Logan Paul, etc. Organic grassroots moments, the kind that made wrestling magical, are way harder to come by. The fans see it. They talk about it constantly online. The energy in the arenas, the social media backlash, it's there. The cracks are definitely starting to show. Now, to be fair, everything TKO has done isn't bad. McMahon being removed from power was definitely necessary with his scandals and poisoning of the company. Triple H having creative control has given us flashes of brilliance. Nick Khan's deals with Netflix and ESPN do expand reach worldwide. But here's the catch. All those positive come with a price. So what does this mean for the long term? If WWE keeps heading down this path, it risks becoming just another entertainment product. Safe, corporate, and forgettable. Fans may stick around for the big spectacle shows, but the diehard, the passion, the kind of people that bleed for this business, that could fade. Here's the big picture. WWE under TKO is bigger, richer, shinier than it's ever been, but in the process, it's losing the very thing that made it matter. Risk, unpredictability, heart, and that raw connection with the fans. If the people running the company don't realize that soon, they'll win huge in the short term with their profits, but long-term loyalty, they'll definitely lose it, and you can't buy it back. So at the end of the day, wrestling is not about revenue, it's about moments and magic. The more corporate you make it, the harder it'll be to get that magic back. WWE might have sold to TKO, but if they're not careful, what they really sold was their soul.